what you can do. To me, you're so valuable to the company because of all the tools that you possess. And it takes a long time to transfer those tools or teach them to somebody else.
Yeah.
I hope people, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, but I hope people watch, because you are so smooth and efficient in the ring. A lot of people, if you know, because you know the business, you know how good you are. Some people, they just see you out there and they, yeah, he's good. No, you're real good.
Thank you.
But it's the efficiency, and it's almost like Bob Eaton. Bob Eaton's one of the greatest of all time. You're not going to hear his name on a list of, hey, who do you think was the greatest, Steve? He's on mine.
Yeah.
You're a guy like that. Again, I'm not blowing smoke, but
yeah,
you're able to do all
that. Yeah.
So I just think that's a tremendous value to the company. And as far as you want to go, you can go.
Yeah, I guess legacy and all that is an interesting thing, because I do want to be seen in that light. But I also recognize at the same time that that's ego. And I try to have a healthy balance of ego and, just keeping it in check. But for sure, I'd like my name one day to be talked about in the same vein as Kurt Angle or Eddie Guerrero or Shawn Michaels, guys that are all-time greats, but also that could do it all. And you're on that list too. You baby heel, hardcore, technical, you were good at everything.
3 moves.
Right.
I had 3 moves.
No, wait a minute. When you were working Steamboat, you were not just doing 3 moves. You were having technical 25-minute matches out there, and you're setting the place on fire. So that's all part of the body of work.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. On a long enough timeline, when you look back on your career, it's that body of work. The ego would love to be recognized in the same vein as some of these all-time greats. But whatever, man, I can't, I'll do my best. And after that, what do you want me to do?
Keep keeping on.
Yeah.
Any guys that you really want to work with in the future?
I'd love to I don't know what Randy's deal is. I know he's dealing with some stuff right now, and I've got to work with him a ton, especially on house shows, but I've never done a real program with him, and I'd love to, because people care about him so much. I know Cena's kind of in and out. I'd love to do a program with Cena if he ever comes back. Roman would be great. I had some unexpected on-screen chemistry with Brock. That
was great. That 7-minute promo between you guys in San Antonio is wonderful.
The fact that you remember it says a lot, right?
So, because, Brock never was really known for his promos. And on this new, version of Brock Lesnar, he's come back and he's allowed himself to be vulnerable. He's let people in, and just being Brock.
Yeah.
And as you know, he's a charismatic, fun-loving guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's big and he's scary, but Brock loves to have fun.
Yeah.
And the fact that the way
my character's a perfect foil for that part of it,
And the timing was spot on.
Yeah. I was kind of floored after it was done. I was like, damn, he's good. And people still talk about it. So there was something there.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's something I'd like to do. And especially if it's more than just Brock eating me up in 3 minutes, if I could do a proper program with him. But that's the part of it that bleeds into what Heyman was talking about that top guy mindset. When you start getting on the radar of Brock and Roman, now you got to start approaching things differently in a way that I honestly go out of my way to not approach it that way.
Yeah, but I think the way you work, the way you can work, the scope of your work, just an evil, sadistic side of underhanded tactics, regardless of size, I think you can match up with anybody. It's just always working as a proper heel should, especially being outmatched by a larger opponent, just using the dirty-handed tricks.
Right.
Now, I'm not talking about the classics from the old schools. I'm just talking about just really cheating to stay on top.
Just in context.
In context.
And I think that's also how I approach matches. When you asked me earlier about Brett and how he approaches and how I approach, I really think that's just the biggest thing, is just taking each match in context. Like, you can't work this match with this guy the same way I'd work this match with that guy.
No.
That's that guy.
Yeah.
I have to work, it's a totally different animal. So I really approach it on an individual level. How I work Big E, or how I work Brock, or how I work Nakamura, they're all going to be different. But for sure, if you're going to work, I think something with me and Brock could work well, because I'd have to resort to whatever. There's credible ways to do it.
Yes.
But of course, it would take Brock signing off on it.
Well, yeah, and we're not booking Brock. But we're just saying. Because like when you say size, but no, done the right way with anybody.
I agree.
Well, last story before we ride off in the sunset, as a class to the kids that might watch this. I remember I first started out, I went down to Memphis, Tennessee. I was 6'2", 255, jacked. I was working with Bill Dundee, the superstar, 5'7", 205. And I'm thinking, my dumb ass, green as grass, 6 months in the business. Well, I'm thinking, well, I guess he's selling for me tonight because he's 5'7", 205.
Yeah.
I found out very quickly from a veteran performer of what it takes to take care of yourself. And I sold for Bill Dundee, and happily so, as I learned the business.
Yeah.
But I learned from a guy that was way smaller than me that, yeah, this is how it works. And if you make it credible, it is credible.
Yeah.
And we had great matches, and he was one of my mentors, actually. But anybody can work with anybody. It's just how you do it.
So it's funny that you say this because this is 20 years in. This is a bit of a revelation that I just had recently because I was talking to Bobby Lashley, and he was talking about fit. And he phrased it in a certain way where I was like, oh, man, that's what it is. He's like, I would work fit all the time, and it was never big guy, little guy. Because fit, even though he's smaller, fit worked big.
Yeah, you're right.
Fit worked big. And this is what I realized about myself. This is why that, and again, maybe it's my own insecurity and I'm projecting that about being seen on that level, but it's because I've made a career out of going out of my way to work small. So I've actually met loads of people, or even gotten in the ring with people, even with you earlier when we were standing there, you're like, damn, what are you, 6'1"? And people, because I work a certain way, I try to work small. Because as a baby face, I want that vulnerability. And as a heel, I want to be a guy that you want to see kind of get his ass whooped.
Right.
Like I'm domineering when it needs to be there. But the rest of the time, the character's kind of weaselly. And the character works small. So I work small, and I realize that might be a hindrance when I want to cross that line to being the top guy that's carrying the ball. But you're totally right. And I know I can do it, but just my instinct is to actually work small because that's kind of how I did it for so long.
Okay. Interesting.
But you're hitting something on the head, and I'm realizing this 20 years in. I'm articulating it this way 20 years in.
Well, and you're always learning in this business.
You're always learning.
Hey, man, we're going to ride off and take it to the sunset. It was awesome talking to you. I've been wanting you to come on the show. When I saw that match at WrestleMania, I said, we got to have Sami. So it's a long time to get out here in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But thanks for coming out.
I honestly thought you'd never have me.
No, this is the first time we've ever got a chance to chop it up.
I know. It's great.
And Mania was so busy. I think we said hi, but that was it.
Well, I saw you pacing before your match. I was like, I'm not going near that guy. I'm not breaking whatever world he's in right now.
There's a couple people did, and it wasn't great. Charlotte was the only one that broke through.
Yeah. I knew enough to stay away.
I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Continued
Thank
success.
you so much.
I don't blow smoke, but I love your body work in the ring.
Thank you.
The character work is stellar. So just keep doing you.
There's a lot coming from you, Steve.
Hey, I'm Stone Cold Steve Austin. This